Hey guys, welcome back and welcome if you're new. Today gonna be video about how to do maintenance on our lovely hub motors on ANIIOKI A8. And today I'm gonna do the rear one because front one already done. All you need to do first, you need to remove the battery, you need to remove seat and put bike upside down. So it's gonna sit like this, very nice, stable and comfortable. So since that, we need to release our nuts from both sides and cut zip ties on a cable, on a motor cable from here and here and here, these zip ties. So once we remove the zip ties, as you can see, here we have to disconnect plug. And so sometimes the question is like, how to disconnect this plug? Which way I have to turn this metal nut? And here the tip, you see behind the nut we have that gap. So that gap is actually for to move this nut like this way. It means that plug and this nut is one piece and this piece is like separate piece, right? This side. So all we need to do is unscrew this nut from this piece. So just like so. Oop. You see, sometimes it's tight. I mean, it was tight, I just break it down already. And when it's completely removed, you just pull that cable off. Just this way. And always check condition. Oh my god, where is this? Yeah, check condition of your plug. So it have to be nice, clean, without any sign of the corrosion or overheating and melting and all this stuff. And again, to prevent all this corrosion, overheating, melting, it should be plugged in tight, completely. Nut should be screwed in completely too. And don't go full setting, full amperage power on your settings in your dash screen. Okay, since that is disconnected, our NAS is loose. Now time to remove chain. To remove chain, you just need to grab it by hands, or doesn't really matter. And as you can see, my derailleur on that position, so I just forget to mention it. You need to put a derailleur settings on position number 7. So it is here. Now we're pressing that, and since we're pressing, it's moving, as you can see. Yeah, position number 7. I hope it's gonna be visible for you guys. And now we can remove it chain completely, just like this, and remove caliper. To remove caliper, we need 5mm Allen key, and just like this. Honestly, I didn't remove even caliper fully, but it's always better to remove fully. But I don't like it. So when you're removing the wheel, it's always good to take like this derailleur and just like lift it like this, because sometimes it's going like that on the bottom and it's kind of on your way when you're removing wheel, so that's why it's always put it up, just like this. Okay, next step, we need to remove bolts from our brake rotor. It's 4mm. What I do, I break in all of them first, and they're usually very tight, and they have like Loctite on them, and so that's why be careful. Your tools, your Allen key should be in a good condition, because if it's gonna be with bad shape, you can just make a damage to your bolts, and it's gonna be hard time to remove these bolts after that. I always lose it first before I use drill, just to not damage the bolt's head, because it's very easy, and after it's gonna be very hard to fix this issue. So now we have to remove brake rotor, and actually to do so we need to remove completely nut, washers, and in that case we can remove that without damaging the cable itself. So next step, we have to remove these 6 bolts, what holds actually like cover, and the size is 3mm for Allen key. While you're working, doesn't matter where this wheel is sitting, I just recommend leave this nut for now at least on the bike. Why? Because if it's gonna go on the ground or so, you can just damage the thread here, and after it's gonna be kind of hard time to put nut on, and it's gonna be like really pain in the ass if you need to remove this axle. So as much as possible, leave this nut as safety protection. But after that, when we're gonna remove these bolts, we need to remove this nut to be able to open that motor. Okay, everything done. All we need to do now is kind of pull this axle out. What I do usually, I put something on the bottom, like under this axle, so just like this, and just press, as you can see, right? I don't know if you can see. So I put like piece of wood, now axle sitting on the wood itself, so this way I push this rod outside, and it just looks like this, as you can see. That's it, it's open. Because if you're gonna pull here, that's kind of not enough grip to pull it, or you have to put nut, put some, like, I don't know. And never pull for this cover, because as you can see, the cover movable, and you can damage your cable. If you're gonna damage cable, that's it, the motor is garbage. I mean, it's fixable, but if you're watching this video, it means you cannot fix this cable by yourself. For rear wheel, it's kind of tricky part, because since that, it's not going anymore. So the front motor, like, very easy to remove. The rear one, for some reason, it's like a little bit stucky inside here in this channel. So that's why we need to use something to like punch actually here. That's it. So that's what we have inside our motor. As you can see, everything looks nice and solid. And here is our motor. Again, be careful, don't damage this wire. Okay, next step, what we need to do actually. For most people who doing like some maintenance, that's enough assembly. So they just like clean a little bit this grease, old grease, put new grease in a sun ring and put grease on that gears, and that's it. So what I do, I would remove that clutch, and actually since I removed this clutch, you're gonna see how to replace these gears, because these gears is like most common. I mean, not on this bike, because here is like metal, it's like kind of sandwich. It's metal, plastic, metal, but for some motors you have just a plastic gear and it's like slipping, damaged, and you can like replace this gears. This is pretty standard gears, 47.5 millimeters diameter, and I believe it's 13 millimeters width. So, and everything else, the bearing inside, it's standard bearing. I believe it's 8 millimeters rod. Anyway, to check if your clutch working, as you can see, this way you can rotate when you're holding still your axle, and you just touch clutch and you rotate. Other way, it's not rotating because your clutch is like locked. So other way. And also when you rotate this piece, you can see it's easy rotate this way and not that easy that way. It's already have some restrictions because the clutch itself engaged. So now, how to remove this clutch on our type of motor? As you can see here, we don't have any stop ring, so it's very easy if you have puller. If you don't have puller, it's gonna be harder, but it's still possible. So you need to just like pull this clutch out of that rod, and I'm gonna show you only with puller because I don't wanna do any I would say unprofessional job, right? So the puller costs like less than 20 bucks and everyone can afford it, I think. So the puller looks just like this. I have 3-way puller. You can use 2-way puller, doesn't really matter. And it goes just like that. As you can see, puller installed. and just, it should go even by hands. I don't have to use any special tools. And it's pulling, as you can see. That's it. Removing the puller. And here's my clutch. My clutch and my motor. So that's how motor looks inside. What we need to do is just remove old grease. Be careful, do not lose that two keys. One of them from this side, another one from this side. Sometimes these keys like sits very tight and you cannot remove them. Sometimes they're very loose, so just be ready so they loose and it's not gonna fall down somewhere on the floor, because without this your motor gonna slip. So I just want to say about like few words about slippage in the motor. So sometimes like people accelerate with throttle and you can hear just like bzzz noise, right? So the motor inside spinning, but bicycle not going and the wheel is not spinning. So it's not always means your gears bad. Not always means your gears bad. Sometimes, and I would say it's even quite often, I'm not saying about ANIIOKI itself, I'm saying about this type of the motors. You see these 3 bolts? 3 small screws, I would say even. That's all what actually holds all torque from your wheel, from your motor to your wheel. So the motor rotating, these 3 screws hold all this pinion, and like all power, all force what motor give you holds just by these 3 small bolts. So sometimes this bolts is just snapped off because very bad metal, and you just have that spin. And people like open, oh, everything fine, and what can I do? Because so all you need to do is just re-drill holes, make it bigger, and put bigger bolts, and good to go. Anyway, I didn't see any problems with these bolts on ANIIOKI bikes yet, but I just know AKX bikes sometimes have them, and other China companies. But here, I don't know, I hope it's gonna be pretty strong, but I just gonna check these bolts on if they are tight. All I need to do is screwdriver and check. Okay, they are tight. If you need to remove, for some reason, if you need to remove rotor itself, right? Yeah, this outside part is the rotor, because as you know probably on the motor, rotor is movable part, stator is not movable part. So in that motor, stator actually is part with wire winding, because it's sitting on a shaft and doesn't move. So here moving outside part. So here's our rotor outside. Anyway, to remove this, you need to remove that 2 keys. You need to remove here snap ring. After you remove that piece, after there's gonna be 1 more snap ring, and after you can remove that actual part. Anyway, so here all we need to do is just clean old grease and clean, so just make sure no any sand, dust and all this stuff. And also when you're working with motor like this, do not put it to the some dirt place, because as you can see, that's his magnet, right? So it's magnetic. And because it's magnet, it's all dirt and metal, shaving and all this stuff, it's gonna collect on itself. So that's why try to put in some clean spot. Okay, let's clean that piece a little bit more, and I would check if we don't have any. It's better to take some like tiny screwdriver and check each single channel, clean it. So next is this clutch itself. So all you need to do actually to change gears, as you can see here, you have 2 snap rings. One is the big one that holds bearing, and another one small one that holds actually your gear on shaft. I hope, yeah, it's gonna be visible here, right? And all you need to do is open that small C-clip. It's not C-clip, it's this small stop clip, and just remove whole gear with bearing together and put new one after that on it. Okay, that's pretty clean. So all you need to do when you're cleaning that, you just need to make sure it's no dirt grease on the motor. But here, because just a little bit over 200 kilometers on the bike, all grease looks like white and nice, so it's not even necessary to clean it completely. So I just clean like overall. What I want to say more, so how to inspect these gears. First of all, you just try to wiggle gear itself to make sure there are no any play on bearings. So your bearings are nice and solid, like here, and it rotates very nice and easy, both ways, nothing seized. So after that, check your clutch, because this plate actually calls clutch. It's not just one piece what holds your what holds your gears. So this piece clutch, it's actually free play. So I mean, if you're gonna put like finger stuck inside, you can see, you can rotate this plate and the inner part sit, and you can rotate one side, and another side it's not rotating, so it's rotating together. So why? Because inside you cannot actually disassemble this. I mean, you can, but it's not actually not worth it to fix it. It's easier to buy another plate. So inside here, like you see this rivets, inside you have spring, like channel, spring and ball. So it means when you rotate one way, the balls just press on this spring and you can rotate it. Other way, the spring push on this ball, and the ball is just like make this like seized. So it's like standard mechanical variant how to make like freeway on one, just spin on one way. Anyway, that's pretty good. It can be installed, but before we're gonna install this, I want to clean wheel itself. Here on the rear wheel, actually, we don't have that much grease as I had on front wheel. And front wheel, I have lots of grease, and most of this grease was like inside. So it just like jump, I would say, jump from the gears and went to the outer part. So just like this, you can see the white one, and also you can see the black one. So the black one is actually like where sign of ring and gears itself like wearing, and it's wearing doesn't mean bad, it's just like normal procedure when it's like breaking down. That's why actually you need to do your maintenance, to just like clean all this stuff until your gears and your motor's gonna be match perfectly. Also on the front wheel I had like very low amount of this dark grease, and I just took like old grease from the wheel from inside and put it here on the ring, and it works perfectly. Because actually like grease what ANIIOKI have in the wheel, I was very surprised, but it's really high quality, high temperature grease, and it's not just like grease itself, it's also very sticky, it's like glue. So that's what greases actually have to be. It's have to be white lithium grease, but the special one. And honestly, I don't even have that special one grease here on my thing. I have heavy duty white lithium grease, what we use for actually vehicles, but it's a little bit different grade, and unfortunately I don't have that one, the sticky one. So I'm gonna use like regular one, but this sticky one is like much nicer. If you have some opportunity to buy that sticky one, what looks like, it looks like sugar, you know, like melted sugar, or not sugar, I would say marshmallow. Yeah, that's what, when you do marshmallow things on the fire, that's exactly how it looks. So that looks like melted marshmallow. Very greasy, very sticky to the hands, and the grease is very good. And I'm very surprised and impressed about ANIIOKI bike, how it's built. And inside here, I don't know, you cannot probably see it. Yeah, you're not gonna see it, but here inside we have seal. I don't know, you're not gonna see it probably. I don't know, maybe you're gonna see it. Yeah, we have seal. So it means the motor itself kind of sealed and waterproof. Why I'm saying waterproof? Because if we're gonna check even cover, you can see this black piece here. That's O-ring. That's rubber O-ring. So when you put your cover here, that's O-ring, like seals motor itself. I'm gonna put a little bit grease here too, just to make sure it's like everything holds nicely. And yeah, I'm pretty happy about quality. So yeah, all we need to do is inspect each tooth, and that's it. No dirt, no nothing. And since that, we can start to do our greasing. So this, I have like 2 different greases. I mean, it's same grease, but 2 different manufacturers. And that's pretty much white grease. It's high temperature, heavy duty, multi-purpose, and yeah, you can use any white lithium grease with that from that category. So here we don't really need a lot of grease, but that should be just kind of enough for enough to make your hands dirty, I would say. Okay, just like that. And now we're gonna put this clutch back. Line up with keys. So it's gonna, you see, rotates one way, not rotates other way. And since that, we can press it. And usually it's not pressed very easy. But again, you need to find out the place where the keys is, and also rotate this to make sure your gears line up with the pinion inside. So you're not gonna, when you're gonna press it, you're not gonna damage that. This and press. And as you can see, I don't know if you were seeing, I was pressing, yeah, you were seeing. And as you can see, it sits, few turns, perfect. Okay, next step, a little bit grease inside the wheel. And to grease it inside the wheel, you just put some grease on your finger and just put a little bit around the sun ring or gear ring, whatever you're gonna call it. For planetary gear it's sun ring, for bicycle it's just like gear ring. Like I said again, you don't have to be lots of grease because it's not really, oops, it's not really lots of frictions there, so just make it like ride quieter and smoother and less heat, I would say. That's it. Okay, now we're just gonna put motor in. So all we need to do is just line up your motor, put this piece in, wiggle a little bit, so it's gonna go inside that seal. And after that, just turn a little bit your axle so your gears gonna sit on a proper spot, and just like this. That's it. Now we can tighten all bolts back. Since you tied all bolts like by hand almost to the end, you need to tie them by star pattern, I would say, like this one, after this one, after that one, this one, this one, and this one. So kind of across. So it's gonna be tied equally, and don't tie it like maybe like fully, all the way fully like right away. Leave it some like gap, I would say, because after you can go like around again and tie everything properly to the end. Okay, so why we do this is to make sure like this plate sits evenly all the way around, so it's not like over tight here and after you're gonna tie it here and you have to like kind of put this plate on under stress because it's tied not equally. I don't know what the torque is. That's why actually I'm using the Allen key like this, not with handle, because with handle it's very easy to snap something. So I use this Allen key, and as you can see probably, when I tie it, I can see how much this Allen key is bending. So on that play, I just kind of like, with same position to each single bolt, I can say they all on the same torque. That's it. Next step, we're gonna install back our brake rotor. Just make sure all this surface is completely clean, because if something gonna be here, your rotor gonna be installed a little bit crooked, and since that it's gonna be wobbling when you're gonna apply brakes, or it's just gonna touch your brake caliper itself. So this should be like nice, clean, and no dirt, no nothing. Okay, now let's put brake rotor back. I want to try different rotor, little bit lighter. What I'm gonna do, each single bolt I put little bit thread locker, the blue one. Usually people put on the brakes red thread locker, but since here is we have to do once in a while motor maintenance, I don't want to put red one, because I don't want to be kind of like permanent or damage my thread after that or something else, and the blue one is more than enough here. The bolt pattern for rotor front and rear exactly the same. So what I actually did, I put my rear rotor to the front, and on the rear I put this Golfer 223 millimeters. That's it, everything tight. Just make sure around each single bolt tight enough, and ready to install. Okay guys, the wheel is back on place now, and so here are a few things what I want to show you, just because I prevented some questions. So original lock washer located there, and the pin for lock washer going outside, not inside, outside. I think it's gonna be no, that's not gonna be visible. Okay, also what I got from AliExpress some nice steel washers. It's like kit washers and lock washers, and I put it outside lock washer here. It's not on the way for original lock washer, because this lip is a little bit longer. I'm gonna show you the picture how it looks like here, and I'm gonna leave it a link in the comment area, the comment section. And here is original lock washer actually going outside, as you can see here, and lock washer from AliExpress going inside. That's how I install, and you can see it's not touching each other, so you can put two washers against each other, no problem. So it's very easy to install wheel. The only problem maybe, or gonna be confused, it's with chain. So to put chain on proper position, what you need to do, you need to just lift this derailleur up. So since it's up, like in a normal driving position, you will see right away how and where the chain should go. Because when the derailleur on the bottom position, it's very confused, and you can like grab wrong part of the chain, and after that it's gonna be like folded, and you don't know how to unfold this chain and all this stuff. So since derailleur is on top, you just put your chain just like this, and if it's on a proper gear, how it was before, you can actually turn your wheel, and you can actually turn your chain back, and nothing gonna be slipped off. So after that, so all you need to do now is just like make sure this wire is secure, not touching any bolts from your brake rotor. The wire gonna be attached here with zip ties, here, 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 and before you attach zip ties, you need to, of course, plug it to the proper plug and make it tight. So, and when you tied it, you not only screw it in, sorry, you not only screw in that connector, you also like pushing it in. And after that, and make sure not touching the wheels, and after that you're good to go. That's it, simple as that. So that's how it looks in the end. We just add zip ties here, here, and I put also zip tie there. So it's at least half-inch distance between plug and actually wheel, and that's more than enough. That's it. So just cut off zip ties. When you put like zip ties, you don't have to be over-tighted, because you can damage wires inside that cable. So you can damage isolation inside, and wire gonna be shortened. You don't want this. That's it. Okay, and last point, when you put bike on a wheel, of course, you need to check if it's actually working. So turn on bike, check if nothing on the dash, after check alignment, check how the motor working. All you need to do is just put a stand and just lift it a little bit, rear wheel, just like this. Also, of course, you have to realign your brakes because it was disconnected and I mean removed. Caliper was removed from the place, and of course you have to like preset it again. And what we do, it's like sound everything perfect, brakes working, no extra noise from the brakes. I'm pretty happy. That's it. Yeah, and last point, I just forget to mention it. It's your brakes when you put bike upside down, because that's dot fluid here. It means this fluid tanks contain some air. It's not like regular brakes with mineral oil where you usually don't have to have any air in the system. Here it's normal if you have some air on top of that fluid, because under this cover anyway, that plastic, that rubber membrane, and under this membrane you have some air. Anyway, air from this tank actually going to the lines by gravity, right? So air lighter than fluid, and air going up to your lines. So after you put bike again on the wheels, you always have to pump it a few times at least, because you see now my brake lever almost touching my grips, and actually it's from both sides, just like this. So you need to give them time a little bit. Usually I do some work on bike like in the evening, so in the morning all air gonna be back already to the tank, or just a few pumps, and sometimes you have to wiggle a little bit lines and it's gonna be faster. Or you can bleed brakes if you want. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, questions, not everyone perfect, maybe I forget to say something or I said something wrong, please leave your opinion in the comment area and I will appreciate it. Thank you so much. See you next time.